Hey everyone, Charlie here. Welcome to another episode of One Cuppa. First thing before we get started on today's topics, I just want to say sorry to you guys for not having a One Cuppa up last week. There's a cool little temple back here. There's no water though for cleaning your hands. I just want to apologize for not having a One Cuppa up last week as a matter of, well, I guess technical difficulty slash, man, that all got real suspicious. Technical difficulty slash difficulty with the elements. Basically what had happened is, oh man, I love ginger ale. Can you hear that shaking? I have a box of screws in my bag that I had to pick up for my classroom for tomorrow. So apparently this whole walk is going to be to the soundtrack of swishing screws. It's real annoying. But anyway, so what had happened was, and I said as much in the Cuppa that was filmed, I even filmed an intro for it and everything, was that I basically got on a train with no purpose or no definite goal as to where I was going, and that was sort of the point, you know? I don't know, do you ever wake up in the morning and you know, like, you want to experience something new, but you don't really want to do anything? I don't know, it's hard to explain, but basically I wanted to see someplace I'd never been before, and I knew that I wanted to make One Cuppa, but I also knew that I didn't want to go and like do like a tourist trap, you know, or like a tourist attraction type thing. And so I went to this town called Eiheiji Town, which if the name sounds familiar to you, that may be because Eiheiji is like a national treasure here in Japan that was built, oh crap, I forget now, I want to say like 14th century, maybe 13th century. That might even be making it too young, but anyway, so that was where this place was. I'd never been there, and so I went there, and it's really, really beautiful, beautiful place, calm little town. And you know, I was just showing it to you guys, I was talking to you as I always do, and I get back, finish filming the intro. Some very talkative creatures out here. This is, I believe, Hinogawa. The Sun's River. It's a nice little park area just off the side here. We're still in Sabai technically, but we're good. Oh, I don't know. We've got to be about 5 miles maybe from my apartment, I think. But so anyway, the wind was so bad last week that it rendered the One Cuppa useless pretty much. In a lot of places you couldn't hear anything I was saying. It was just you know, that kind of thing. Some of you have said that I should put it up anyway. Maybe I'll end up putting it up on the Facebook page as sort of like a lost episode at some point. That's too bad because I really like the intro I shot for it. But anyhow, apologies for not putting up a video last week. A One Cuppa last week, and also for not putting up any videos after that, just because like I had like, you know, when you're used to like making, whether it's writing or videos or whatever, you have to get used to the idea that things don't work out, and you have to not be precious about it, right? You like, if ever you hear people in the creative space talking about being precious about their work, it's basically being like thinking that everything you make is gold, and anytime it doesn't go right, you get upset about it. And I'm not normally like that anymore, just as a matter of practice, but I was so upset. I was so upset that the One Cuppa didn't work out last week that I just like was like, screw YouTube for the week basically. But anyhow, we're here now, and it's like a proper hot day here in Western Japan. It feels like it's got to be just about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and the humidity is well, it's not as bad as it's gonna be in a couple months, but going towards rainy season here, it's pretty considerable. So so last week I went to Fukui Station, and during this adventure, this adventure that wasn't meant to be published and captured on film, I guess, apparently. And while I was in Fukui, it was really interesting because Fukui just recently completed this really huge revitalization project and like renovation of the JR station there. And basically what they did is they turned it into like a proper hub station instead of like this ghost town worn out kind of place. Like if you go there now, there's like I think there's 3 animatronic dinosaurs out in front of the station, an Allosaurus, not an Allosaurus, a Fukui raptor, some kind of brachiosaur or brontosaur type creature, and then another something, maybe an iguanodon, just in case you're interested to know. And so that's up front, but also they just completed this huge new glass building, and in that building is a planetarium and like a bunch of shops. There's one of Japan's like few Burger Kings are in that building, and I love these little waterways for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Oh, that's lucky. Hello, bird. Hakucho. And so, yeah, so there's all these new things in Fukui City now. And it's like, is this a road? Yeah. Let me get away from this old guy. He's giving me the creeps. Keeps checking me out. But, not like checking me out, but like, what is that guy doing? Like, especially suspicious kind of fellow, which I guess I can't blame him, but anyway. And so I went there, and the thing to know about Fukui, and maybe you do know if you've been here, it's kind of an old area, looks like, these houses, kind of worn down. Adds its own kind of charm, I think, to the area, you know. The thing to know about Fukui City is that, as a rule, it's never busy, particularly on the weekdays. What is going on? So down here, right, that's where that temple is that we came from at the beginning, and then down here there's another one. I'm kind of wondering I know there's like supposed to be a very traditional archery hall around here. But anyway, I keep getting off topic. And so Fukui now, though, particularly in the last couple of weeks since this place has opened, look at this cute little tobacco shop. Particularly since the new places have opened, it's like every day in Fukui is busy. Like, it feels like a proper city. And wow, beautiful houses here. And you know, so there's people everywhere. You know, there's people out on dates. There's old couples out on dates. There's young couples out on dates. There's people like me who just want to walk around and see what's new. And you know, of course, that's not terribly unusual. And you might be thinking, well, why are you telling me something that happens, you know, probably many places across the world every day, like this revitalization? And it's because I think that there's that's somebody's yard. Damn, man. Damn. But there's like this feeling of pride in Fukui that I'm not sort of used to, I guess. You know, Fukui kind of has like this I mean, for the most part, the people here are very sort of like working class kind of people, right? Very serious, like do their work, do it well kind of attitude, which is, of course, in the Japanese landscape in itself, not all that unusual. That's a cool little pathway. But the thing is, yeah, so it just feels a little different, you know? Should I bow in this gate? I don't even know. Interesting roadway. And so by extension, you know, not by extension, I'm skipping ahead of myself, but so Fukui sort of has this bad rap, and this is something we talked about a little bit in the previous episode, but when you talk to other people about, you know, they ask you where you live, like particularly when I've met girls, for example, on Tinder, or when I've been out at like a bar in Nagoya or Kyoto or something, and they ask me where I'm living, I say, oh, I live in Fukui, and they're like, oh, there's nothing to do there, right? It's boring. And so you hear that enough times and it gets to you a little bit. wow. I think I came to the right place for this episode today. It's gorgeous here. And lots of old traditional houses along here, eh? And, you know, and so of course people hear that a lot. So, anyway, people here just seem kind of proud. They're out and about, they're doing their thing. And so, sort of by extension, I feel proud, I guess. And so, this is all getting to a much grander point, but by the way. So I went to my manager at my school and I said, you know, have you been to Fukui City, the JR station, since the new station opened? And konnichiwa. You know, and so I'm telling her about it. She's like, oh no, I haven't been there. And I'm like, yeah, I feel, so I tell her about it and I'm like, yeah, I feel really kind of proud of it. And, you know, and I said, weirdly proud. And so she gives me this look, and, ooh. And she says, okay, well, what, but why do you feel, you can see some of the old, like, sort of dirt packing, the foundation of this really old house. Oh my gosh. Guys. I love the Inaka so much. I love it. I wish I could explain the sort of tingling feeling I get when I see places like this, like in my chest and in my stomach, kind of like, it's not, I don't think it's pride, but it's just appreciation, like, oh, I'm here, you know, kind of thing. But anyway, so my manager asks, why weirdly proud? And I'm like, well, I'm not, Fukui's not my city, I'm not a Fukui person type thing, you know? And she's like, you've been living here for 1.5 years, like, I'm sure, like, most people would agree when they find out you've been here 1.5 years, like, yeah, you're a Fukui person, you know? And this is not, by the way, meant to be like, well, I'm Japanese now, of course, I'll never be Japanese, that's not the point, but I'm saying, like, she's saying that, I am at the very least a local, at least to people who know me, right? It's just like when you move to New York City, after a while you become a New Yorker, right? Or when I met transplants from India who were living in Rochester, the city where I lived and worked most of my life before coming to Japan. Yeah, they became Rochesterians, and it's the same thing. And so, you know, I agree with her. But it got me to sort of thinking about this this idea of foreignness, right? Like how foreign I feel versus how foreign I am, and how much of that feeling is based on sort of like these objective or maybe external sort of forces that you don't have any control over, versus the things that we sort of, the way we view ourselves, you know. So, I want to point out immediately, jasmine! Stinks of jasmine over here. Love it. And, yeah, I want to point out immediately that, of course, there are times when you're going to feel like a foreigner here that have nothing to do with you. There are times where people are going to treat you not necessarily poorly, although sometimes poorly, simply because of the way you look, or maybe you speak a little funny, or whatever the case may be, right? Like, discrimination is not, like, America, my home, not my home, but my birthplace. It's a complicated thing, right? It's an evolving, complicated feeling. But my birthplace, you know, we don't have a patent on, we don't have a monopoly on discrimination, of course. It's found everywhere. Though to a much larger extent, I would think, back home. Anyhow, off topic, go figure. And you know, people will sort of oftentimes treat you, wow, look at this beautiful entranceway. It's a rather lackluster old place back there, but anyhow, you know, you'll often get treated with basically kid gloves, you know, like there's only certain ways we can speak so that you'll understand, or there's only certain things we can do that you'll enjoy, because you're the foreign guy, and we don't want to offend you, and we don't want you to be bored, and we don't want you not to be able to understand. And so a lot of that has to do with trying to be polite. And of course there is such a thing as being too polite, right? To the point where it's no longer being polite. But anyhow, so konnichiwa. And so what a cool old dude. He's lighting up his cigarette, just gave me a very sort of slow nod with his head. It scared the hell out of me a little bit. And you know, so aside from that though, like these definite times when you are made to feel like your own strangeness, I guess, I think that a lot of the time we, and when I say we, I mean those of us in the foreign community, we paint ourselves with that brush, or we don't do enough to sort of wash the paint off, if I can stick with an already tired metaphor, right? Looks like some pretty healthy kale. There's some broccoli greens. You know, there is this sort of feeling like, oh, I'm foreign, so I can't do that, or I don't speak Japanese, so I can't do that. And it really becomes very, very infuriating for me to realize this. And I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of this myself, by the way. I'm not pointing my finger at you damn foreigners out there. But what I am saying is that too many of us have this habit of shrugging off our own responsibility, like particularly in our quest to speak Japanese. There's so many people here, myself included, who don't speak Japanese anywhere near as well as they should. And that's kind of shameful, you know, particularly if you've been here for, I don't know, a year or 2 years, or however many years, and you still can't order food without pointing at a menu. And I'm not trying to judge you, but what I am trying to say is that if you are that kind of person who's not going to put in any sort of work whatsoever, and then you wonder why people treat you, or why you feel like an outsider, why you're supposedly made to feel like you'll always be on the outside looking in, you know, that's just crazy to me. And so yeah, that's been like one of the big things that's been on my mind recently, like how much of the isolation I felt. Not so much anymore. Oh, this is a nursery. Let's go this way. Not so much now, but particularly when I was first starting out, is how much of that was my own. And I've talked about this with you guys before, when I just sort of cloistered myself away and didn't make too much of an effort. Like, I wonder, you know, how much better it could have been had I stopped feeling bad for myself, I guess. So anyway, be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that, whether you think like I'm giving people too little credit or too much credit, what have you. And you know, I guess let's talk about the Japanese thing too, and this is something I want to make like a separate video on today. But in addition to my having my feelings hurt about the demise of last week's one Cuppa, the second reason, which way I want to go? I've definitely gone in a circle. The secondary reason why I wasn't making videos during really not too seriously the past couple weeks is because I've sort of I found, I don't know if passion's the right word, but I found my stride in sort of my focus with my Japanese study. And in doing so, like, I mean serious, like 3 to 4 hours a day type of study. And over a period of 2 weeks, I wish I could explain in a concrete way what that has what that has meant for me. Oh, we can go that way now that the old guy is done creeping on me. But yeah, I wish I could explain what that being serious about my language study had done for me. Like I went to like my regular izakaya, and it was like, whereas before I had to struggle to get, like, for example, the passive form of a verb. If I wanted to use the passive form of a verb, I always had to sort of stop and think, and my tongue, even so, would always go, you know, like for those of you who don't know, passive form is like rareru, right? So you can say like taberareru, right? Instead of just taberu. So I don't want to get into the grammar of it and the why you would use it and all that, but I'm just saying, like, I would stumble over myself. And after these days of studying and studying and studying and studying and talking to myself as I'm studying, talking to myself, reading the kanji aloud, like, and then going to the izakaya or going to a bar, just even at the grocery store, like, it was like it was like the floodgate had been open, and all of a sudden it was just such an incredible experience for me. And I guess I didn't realize how bad I was at speaking until I was better at speaking. You know, and I wouldn't presume to say I'm good at speaking Japanese right now. That would be giving myself way too much credit. I love these little alleyways, man. I understand I'm repeating myself endlessly, but just the way it is, people. I love what I love. You know, and so I guess that ties back to what we were talking about before with sort of responsibility, is that, like, and I could see it too, like, even with my I was gonna say my master. I don't have a master. No one but myself is my master. You know, I could see it with the owner of the izakaya, who I've talked about probably too many times to be healthy in these videos. But you know, he's a really good friend to me. But I can see, like, it's tiring for him sometimes. You know, when he's trying to talk to me and I'm just like, huh? Or I can't properly respond, so our conversations are like one-sided and things like that, you know? But then, what is this place? It says open in sort of semi-cursive script. No, it is cursive script above the door. I don't know what the hell it is. You know, and it's tiring for him, but I could see when I was there and had armed myself with all this new vocabulary, and I could read the kanji that were going across the screen on the news program that was playing at the izakaya, and we could talk about it and all these other things. Like, I could see him too, like you see that sort of what's the word I'm looking for here? Weight, I guess. Burden, that's the word. Big word. Big word starts with a B. Sorry, Southern folk, that was insulting and stereotypical and all these other things. Apologies. Hello there, creepy little spider. And what am I trying to say? And right, so all of it is to say that while certainly there are times here that you're going to be treated as the outsider that in many ways you will always be, I suppose, because of your difference in culture, difference in upbringing, difference in all these other things. You know, I just want to say to all of you out there, do not, I don't know, like, I don't want to be too harsh about it and be like, stop blaming other people, but realize that while sometimes people do shit on you and make you feel like you're nothing and make you feel like you're an outsider and like you're not worth their time and everything like that, like, be honest with yourself. Now, this is some spicy ginger ale. Be honest with yourself and open with yourself about what you're doing to put yourself in that situation, I guess. So, ooh, can I go this way? This is a private path? We're gonna find out. I just want to know what this, like, mossy rock wall is over here. hope I'm not on somebody's private property. That would be unfortunate. Definitely a little nervous. Yeah, what is this? Alright, yeah, this is gonna be like our last little bit of exploration. Now I'm thinking, guys, oh, this is somebody's house. God damn, I want this house. Let's go on the other side. Oh, there's a cute little garden. I'm such a creep right now. Now I'm thinking ahead to August, when my friend Travis is coming back over from London, and we're gonna tackle another part of the Tokaido Nature Trail. This time we're gonna go from, where did we end up last time, Travis? Shizuoka to Gifu prefectures. And whilst we're doing that, I wanna make more of an effort this year to actually do some vlogging. And I'd be interested to hear you guys if you want to see just kind of these style videos, like one Cuppa style videos from the trail. What is this? There's so many little businesses out here. Yeah, if you want to see like these walk and talks from the trail, which are basically what I did last year, or I am considering my options for a new camera, which I definitely need to buy before the trip. And I'm wondering if the best option wouldn't be to incorporate these kind of walk and talks with those sit downs, but to get something like a 360 camera that I can use to actually sit down with you guys while we're at, once we made camp on the trail, and show you what it's like to set up a camp in the middle of the woods and eat out here, and particularly if we get lucky again and end up being offered places to stay by random people, make videos with them, things like that. So I know that, and the reason why I ask, I don't know why I ask, because I end up just doing what I want to do anyway, but I've had a hard time on this channel anytime I've made videos about hiking. Oh, that is real strong ginger ale. Popularity wise, and that's so cynically, like, of course I want them to be seen, right? There's I want to make them, but I want them to be seen. So I want to know what I can do for you guys. If you're not really into camping, what would make them more interesting for you to... What the hell? I'm not sure what that was about. What would make them more interesting to you? So, because I think, you know, I can do these topical videos. This isn't a topical video, this is a walk and talk of me blabbing as usual, but I want to show you that side of Japan that I see, that I am most in love with, which is the random but somehow really meaningful experiences I have with these people when I'm backpacking and when I'm out with Travis and things like that. But they, of course, the nature of content and stuff like that, it needs to be interesting enough to pull you guys in. So think about it. Let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know down in the comments about what you think about what I said about responsibility and what makes us feel like foreigners here, if it's just an outside problem or if we're a big part of the problem too. And on that note, let's finish up our cuppa. One more, I'll do it. You ever had ginger ale that like burns like hot peppers? I have now. Which way do I want to go? I'm kind of lost, to be honest. Alright guys, thanks always for watching. Be sure to like the video if you did in fact like it. Share, subscribe, and all that jazz. And we'll see you all very, very soon indeed. Cheers.